Acts chapter 5 verses 17 to 26. Then the high priest and all his associates, who were members of the party of the Sadducees, were filled with jealousy. They arrested the apostles and put them in the public jail. But during the night, an angel of the Lord opened the doors of the jail and brought them out. "Go, stand in the temple courts," he said, "and tell the people the full message of this new life." At daybreak, they entered the temple courts, as they had been told, and began to teach the people. When the high priest and his associates arrived, they called together the Sanhedrin, the full assembly of the elders of Israel, and sent to the jail for the apostles. But on arriving at the jail, the officers did not find them there. So they went back and reported, "We found the jail securely locked, with the guards standing at the doors, but when we opened them, we found no one inside." On hearing this report, the captain of the temple guard and the chief priest were puzzled, wondering what would come of this. Then someone came and said, "Look, the men you put in jail are standing in the temple courts teaching the people." At that, the captain went with his officers and brought the apostles. They did not use force because they feared that the people would stone them. In this passage, many signs and wonders were being performed by the apostles, and more people joined their community. Even Peter's shadow falling on the sick was enough to heal them, all because they were given the authority to drive out demons as written in the book of Mark chapter 3 verse 15. This incident caused great alarm among the religious leaders, especially the Sadducees, who denied the supernatural miracles and saw the apostles acting on the basis of a faith which they regarded as heretical. On verse 17, Luke used the word jealousy, and we've seen that it is their main motive for their act of arresting the apostles, put them in a public jail, and scheduled them for a trial the next day. But during the night, an angel of the Lord opened the gates for them and told them to go back and continue preaching in the temple. Angels figure prominently in the book of Luke and Acts as both messengers, as protectors, and as consolers. On verse 21, we've seen that the apostles, at their earliest opportunity, obey and resume teaching the people. We all know that the apostles' teaching on the people about Jesus was a direct violation of the orders previously given to Peter and John by the Sanhedrin in Acts chapter 4 verse 18. On that occasion, the two apostles had responded by saying, "Which is right in God's eyes, to listen to you or to him? You be the judges. As for us, we cannot help speaking about what we have seen and heard." In Acts chapter 4 verse 19 to 20. On the other part of the passage, the officers find guarded, locked but empty cells. The captain of the temple guard and the chief priest are more than just puzzled at this. They are perplexed at a complete loss to explain it. Immediately, they receive an answer to their puzzlement. Someone breaks in and reports the apostles' teaching on the temple. Springing into action, the captain and officers rearrest the apostles. They offer no resistance. The officers use no violent force. As a reflection on this account, I've seen four truths in our present ministry today. First, persecution is still present. There are countries that the authorities try to silence the truth. There are instances in our lives that our family stops us from sharing the truth. And there are times in our ministry that we cannot teach the truth. Persecution can come from the leaders, family members, and even ourselves. Second, God's intervention can still happen. We are being reminded not to let our assumptions and fears blind us to what God can do. If He was able to free the apostles from the jail without no one knowing and noticing, God can free His people who obediently follow His command to share the gospel. Third, the Word of God must be continually taught to people. The apostles' direct violation of the orders for the sake of teaching the gospel was dangerous, yet if we think of too much comfort we have, compared to what they have experienced, questions our faith to God. The purpose of our salvation is to share it with those who have not yet received it. The question is, are we as courageous as the apostles? Fourth and lastly, violence is not our option. It is true that we must share the Word of God, but the consequences of it is something that we should accept, just like the apostles when they were arrested. they did not resist, for they knew that it was bound to happen as written in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verses 12 to 13. Jesus said, "But before all this, they will seize you and persecute you. They will hand you over to synagogues and put you in prison, and you will be brought before kings and governors, and all on account of my name. And so you will bear testimony to me." May we do our parts as one of God's witnesses. Thank you.